Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're discussing the July full moon in Aquarius and what it means for your zodiac sign. Hi everybody and welcome back to Saturn's Secrets. Today we're discussing the July full moon happening in Aquarius. Now this is going to be on the 23rd or 24th of July depending on where you are. Timestamps will be listed below for what it means for your zodiac sign, but first I'm going to go into the astrology of this full moon and what it means for us on a collective level. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for regular updates on all things astrology and some tarot as well. So this full moon is really quite special. It is the first of two consecutive full moons in the sign of Aquarius. The second full moon in Aquarius will be a blue moon, as if full moons in Aquarius were not quirky and unusual enough. This is a sequence of expect the unexpected in July and August, depending on where Aquarius falls in your chart. This first full moon will be at 1 degree of Aquarius, and the second full moon in August will be at 29 degrees of Aquarius, meaning that the themes that come up around this first full moon will take fruition at the second full moon in August. So paying close attention to the themes of this full moon is important because you will see significant developments in the month that follow. This full moon is loosely conjunct Saturn, conjunct Pluto, and trining the true node. These are not close aspects, but this full moon, because of its conjunction to Pluto and its conjunction to Saturn, has a touch of seriousness about it and a sense of limitation. Now, when Pluto's involved in the mix around a full moon, it means that there's a sense of letting go of something in order to have a new beginning, because this full moon is at 1 degree of Aquarius, and this is significant because 1 degree of Aquarius is actually known as the two-headed calf. Now this degree is linked back to not only the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction that happened in late December of 2020, but the themes of this full moon are also linked to the Saturn-Pluto conjunction at the beginning of 2020. This full moon itself is going to illuminate themes, potentially origins surrounding the actual themes of 2020. There could be a lot of illumination. Now this full moon as well is going to hit the charts of China and also Croatia. So these could be two places that are up in the news around this time. There could be some illumination happening there or some key developments happening there as well. So as I mentioned, the 1 degree of Aquarius is the two-headed calves. And the thing about 1 degree of Aquarius is that it's actually a degree that signifies finding balance between two opposing energies. It signifies the parts of ourselves that we reject, our shadow side, rather than understanding that with the two-headed calves, the conscious and the unconscious, they can actually exist peacefully, and two opposite energies can blend beautifully together to make alchemy. The full moon in Aquarius is an illumination of our wishes, our aspirations, our greater dreams, our greater hopes that are not limited. Now Aquarius is ruled by Saturn, meaning that we need to put in the work in order to achieve these dreams. Aquarius is traditionally ruled by Saturn, which is of course in a square still with Aquarius' most recent ruler, the modern ruler, Uranus. But this doesn't mean that Saturn's theme is any less prevalent, and because of the conjunction to this full moon, there is this sense going on that we will see with this two-headed calf degree where our limitations are unconsciously, where we're holding ourselves back in accepting who we truly are in order to meet our dreams. Oftentimes people don't meet their dreams because they think that they themselves are limited, not because of something on the external. Full moons illuminate our unconscious every month, and this is where you're going to see that maybe there are some things in your unconscious mind, in your subconscious mind, or even things that you're quite aware of that act as limitations and barriers between you and what you want. This full moon then may bring up parts of yourself that you're in conflict with. Now, it's got a quincunx aspect to Venus, meaning that you might actually see the parts of yourself that you don't like, the parts of yourself that you don't accept in the eyes of another relationship, be it romantic, be it family, be it friendships, especially friendships, because this full moon is in the signs surrounding the theme of friendship. So it could be that you see your limitations and your issues in the eyes of another, and there's a period of reflection going on. Now this is interesting in context with the full moon next month, there's actually going to be conjunct Jupiter, and the ruler of the full moon Aquarius, Uranus, is going to be trining Mars, which suggests these really positive chance encounters, chance luck, chance experience. And the only way that we can see this, the only way that we can be open to understanding the things that are working for us and the opportunities, is to remove these limitations that we experience around this first full moon. So while a lot of the context surrounding Saturn and Pluto can indeed be regarded as doom and gloom, this degree of Aquarius itself is really quite significant. Now the sun, of course, will be opposite the full moon, and the sun will be in Leo. Now the sun loves being in Leo, but the sun will be in 1 degree of Leo, and this is where we have this new beginning in love. And love is a general theme, not just in relationships, but love of what you do, love of what you see. When you see things in life that you just feel this compelling warmth towards, and people can love superficial things, people can love hobbies as well, people can love many things. It's not just about romantic love, although with 1 degree of Leo it absolutely could be a new beginning for many people in romantic love, provided they listen to the unconscious full moon in Aquarius energy showing you where you're actually quite avoidant. See, Aquarius has this reputation of being emotionally avoidant, being spacey, taking a step back, not being close with others in many occasions. Keeping people at some sort of a distance is the shadowy energy of Aquarius, and this is something that can be learned through experience. This can be something learned through childhood experience, friendship relationships. In fact, with this full moon in general, a lot of people could become very aware of where they suffer from group trauma, where they feel that they have been rejected in groups, where they feel like they have been rejected in social situations, in particular for those born in the year 1991, because this is going to be conjunct your Saturn, and you have these ongoing wounds within you of who you are in a group of people, rejections from friendships, rejections from teams, that sort of thing, feeling like you don't quite belong with a soul tribe. These type of wounds can be exposed around this time, and because of the access with Leo and Aquarius, it can show you where this fear of attachment, this fear of being seen, because the sun is in Leo, this fear of being seen for who you truly are within a group, can actually be an incredibly vulnerable thing, and it could be keeping you from showing who you truly are because you fear the rejection of self. So the problem with that is, if you're putting forward this image with the Aquarian nature where you're quite detached, you look to where Aquarius falls in your chart, because Saturn's going through there too, meaning that you could be feeling quite pulled back in that area, quite restrictive in that area. And the problem with this is that if you are not showing your true self, you will consistently be rejected by the people that might actually be comfortable with who you are. And you might find yourself in groups where you will be avoided, you will be rejected for who you are if you let the mask slip. So it's important around this full moon to acknowledge how you feel in group situations. Do you feel like yourself? Do you avoid friendships? Do you avoid teamwork? Do you avoid love? Do you avoid feeling part of any sort of community? Now, the full moon in Aquarius can expose toxic communities, and I don't like using the word toxic because it's so overused, but I'm running out of... I did look it up in the thesaurus to try and figure out what it was. What other words for it was, but it's just so common now, this theme of toxicity. Toxicity is really what isn't working for you and what's not suiting your system and what could actually make you unwell. And being in a community that really doesn't fit who you are can make you feel really closed off, really down on yourself, and really confused about your own identity. So around this full moon, it could be possible for a lot of people that certain friendships fall by the wayside, certain feelings come up in friendships, certain confrontations come up in friendships as well. So it's important to take note of this energy as it arises and know that not all friendships are built to last, but certainly the friendships that come out stronger with this full moon, because of the link to Saturn, there probably is a very strong long-term friendship aspect to it. This is an energy surrounding spirit medicine, healing, and because it's in the sign of Aquarius and communities, it may be that there's some healing information comes to different types of communities, different types of groups of people. There could be information comes to the surface, information, truth, which allows healing in key groups of people, key societies. There could be awareness surrounding our social interactions. A lot of these themes, sociology, humanitarianism, human rights, will come up around this time and they'll be illuminated. While they might seem seem painful, the truth might not be comfortable, it's also entirely possible that this truth itself will in the long run be very healing for people in general. And because we have two full moons back to back consecutively in the sign that is ruling sociology, humanitarianism, friendship, communities, it's likely that this for the collective is actually an incredibly healing, illuminating and somewhat liberating time. So that's the astrology of the full moon in Aquarius. I'm going to get into the animal spirit messenger for the full moon in Aquarius and see what it means for all of us on a collective level, but also I want to point out that if you are a moon in Aquarius natally, this full moon will be very illuminating for you in terms of your emotions. Now, moon in Aquarius people are not naturals at emotions because they overanalyze them, they intellectualize them, and sometimes they don't feel them if they feel that there is no justification. It's a very free-spirited moon, and it is one that only, at least in my experience as being an Aquarian moon, it only grows in intensity as you get older. As you learn through life, you realize that you need these different types of freedom and you need to embrace your quirky, unconventional side, but you also need to be comfortable embracing your feelings without over analyzing them. Simply allowing yourself to feel is okay, and these two full moons back to back really want to make you aware of that moon in Aquarius family, because you need to let some emotions just come to the surface so that you can understand them, especially if they're surrounding themes of career, work, learning, friendships, community, and where you belong. Similarly, as I said to you, if it is aspecting your Saturn, this is a trend. This is showing you your emotional life as created by the society you grew up in and even the time that you grew up in. And a lot of people that will be experiencing this conjunction to their Saturn will have grown up in the 90s and things were significantly different. So there is this sense of healing some emotional parts of the past sociologically and in terms of your culture, your heritage and things like that. So this is a very emotional full moon for people with Aquarius placements, the closer they are to 1 degree in particular. So let's get into the animal spirit messenger and see what it says for the full moon in July 2021. So as usual, I'm going to be using the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck by Kim Krans and see what we have for this full moon in Aquarius in 2021. And let's go. The bee. The bee's a beautiful energy. It's interesting how bees work as a team as far as I'm aware. Now, my knowledge on bees is somewhat limited. The main thing that comes to mind though with the bee as a spirit animal is that it is about how you work. And for this new beginning in Aquarius, it could be signifying for many that they are working as part of a team. They are working on something collective. They could be working on something with a theme of charity or human rights or human needs. It could be some sort of charitable endeavor where you're working as part of a team to meet some sort of collective goal. And where we can understand that working as a team can be a powerful thing. I mean, bees are so important and we must protect the bees at all costs. So it's also understanding what needs to be protected. I think with this bee as an animal spirit messenger, it might be that around, pardon the pun, it might be that around this time we become very aware of certain human rights violations and where we need to work collectively rather than dividedly to meet this goal, this objective, and to ensure things are happening the way they should be and that certain rights are not being violated. In particular for certain groups of people because of the Aquarian aspect, but also on a humanitarian level, because what we help other people with is good for the world. It's not about doing things with this Aquarian full moon that are naturally self-focused. It's about healing everybody. It's about working towards helping everybody. And while this can sound quite kumbaya and woo-woo, in a sense it's about understanding what you can do in your own community or what you can do for the people that you really care about. And you know, when we talk about this Aquarian full moon and we think about the fears of rejection, a lot of people can, in order to avoid closeness, throw themselves into heavy workloads, heavy schedules to avoid that closeness. And with the bee, sometimes it can be about not working so hard if you're working to avoid something. So it's an interesting theme actually with the bee. I have to say, this is giving me a lot of food for thought A lot of different themes I think are coming up with this bee energy, especially in terms of what we need to do collectively, what we need to work on. I do think this is going to expose some truths about groups of people. It's also, when we think of the queen bee, because it's the first degree of Leo, and then a week later we have this opposition between 29 degrees of Leo, 29 degrees of Aquarius, there could be information that comes out about monarchy, and there could be some divisiveness there in terms of monarchy and people, or leadership and people. Even when we think about the queen bee, it doesn't necessarily have to be monarchy, it can be leadership. I think this full moon may expose a leader that needs to acknowledge something they've done that might have been a violation on a human rights basis or a civil basis. That's entirely possible with this full moon, and it could be something that is illuminated within the next couple of months. But socially, themes of social justice are going to be very big around this time as well. So I'm going to get into what it means for the individual zodiac signs. Timestamps are listed below. Please check your sun and rising. You can even check your moon, and if you are a late degree of any sign, say you're born from you know, in the last decan of a zodiac sign, you could actually look at the one that comes after you, or you're born in the last decan of your ascendant sign, you can actually check the sign that comes after you as well, just so you know. So that is what I have for you guys. Thank you for joining me here, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Aries, welcome to your full moon in Aquarius reading. So Aries, the astrology of this full moon is that it falls in your sector of community, friendships, groups, alliances, networks, following, soul tribe, and your dreams, your aspirations. And it's going to be opposite the Leo sun in your 5th house of the arts, passion, love, romance, and creativity. So Aries, this full moon is illuminating chances, opportunities, through networking, friendships, social energies. It could be that people are aligning for you to give you opportunities. It could be that you have some sort of recognition. For those of you that are on social media trying to gain a following, a wonderful time to put out content, because you could actually generate more of a following around this time when there's a full moon in your 11th house, and you have 2 in a row. So if it doesn't take off completely around this time, if it's little, it might be quite large by next month. If those of you are looking to make new friends, again, there's more of a chance of running into people, socializing with people, and connecting with like-minded people around this time as well. Possibly through joint hobbies that make you feel really passionate, that are a lot of fun for you. You know, it could be artistic, it could be sports, it could be music, theatre, dance, art, anything like that, because we actually had Saraswati, the arts card, and this is very, you know, it's very appropriate considering we have the sun illuminating your 5th house of the arts. So a lot of you could be experiencing around this time chance encounters related to people you know. They could be putting your name out there. People could be talking about you more, noticing you more. It's also possible for a lot of you Aries that issues within a group or a friendship may come to light around this time that could actually be linked to the end of last year, especially around the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction, or are linked to the beginning of 2020. It could also be that romance that was developed at either of those points is illuminated at this time too, and there could be a lot of passion involved with that. So with this full moon illuminating your 11th house, some of you might also realize, if you're single, that you have feelings for a friendship, or you have feelings for somebody in your community. Or it could be that you realize a friend has feelings for you and you need to deal with that. So that is the themes that can come up for you Aries. I hope you have a really beautiful full moon, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Taurus, welcome to your full moon in Aquarius reading. So Taurus, this full moon is going to be illuminating your sector of profession, goals, notoriety, your success, your ambition, your calling, your brand. And because of its link to Saturn, it could be that around this full moon you realize what you're doing that is limiting your success. So for a lot of you, we have talked so much over the last couple of years, well, the last year really, because Saturn has been in and out of your 10th house, but it's really about where you limit yourself in terms of success. You don't feel deserving, you don't feel worthy, you have goals in mind, but there's something within you, likely an authoritarian voice or maybe even a father figure, that makes you feel like you don't really have the ability or the skill set to achieve these goals. Maybe even professionally, you're worried about being seen. Over the next couple of months, with 2 consecutive full moons in your 10th house, you will be seen, Taurus. But it will also be showing you inside where you're limiting your own success, by self, whether it is by imposter syndrome, self-sabotage, maybe you're deliberately ignoring client requests, or you take a long time to respond, or whatever. And you have to lean into why you feel that way. So with this full moon, it's illuminating you in terms of your 10th house. You could rise to the top of any CV pile. People could be discussing your work. You could be getting more clients. You could be experiencing some degree of local fame, if not grand fame, Taurus, around this time. But this is a time for you to really focus on what it is that you want long-term professionally. And this may require you letting go of a limiting belief or a draining project or a draining job. Some of you could be changing jobs around this time too. And if you feel around this full moon in particular that you want to change jobs, by next month, that might have moved very quickly. So that's what I have for you, Taurus. I hope you have a beautiful full moon. I need to draw you a card. I'm sorry. Let's get you a card, Taurus. I'll not leave you just yet. Don't back down. This is so appropriate, Bridget. Stand up for what you believe is right. You deserve success, Taurus. You deserve to keep going. You deserve to be brave. You deserve to do what it is that you want to do with your life, with your calling, with your legacy. You just have to be bold and stand up for yourself. Put yourself out there. Nobody can find you at home, even though the sun is in your 4th house. Meaning that maybe you want to be at home a little bit more. This full moon is telling you, no, you need to pay attention to your career matters before you spend the rest of the month indulging in more home activities. So that's what I have for you, Taurus, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Gemini, this full moon is happening for you in your sector of higher education, religious beliefs, spiritual beliefs, journey, travel, other cultures, and expansion. So this full moon is illuminating what these areas mean for you. So it might be that some of you have a little bit of an epiphany or a change. You're learning about spirituality, or you're learning about something new, something exciting. You're really activating your mind at this time, especially since the sun is actually in your 3rd house of knowledge. So for a lot of you, you are experiencing some kind of spiritual calling, some kind of religious awakening. It could be at this time that you're planning a trip, or you're going on a vacation, you're going on a journey. Some of you are really in the midst of a spiritual journey, and it's heightened around this time. But really your interests are peaked around this point, Gemini. You're really learning about yourself. Some of you could be learning about psychology. Some of you could be seeing somebody who is a master or a lecturer or a teacher or a mentor around this time that's going to give you some very insightful guidance. So it's likely that around this time you could be experiencing an awakening, an activation, an expansion of the mind. If not literal travel or literal graduations from university, from school, that type of thing. Your tarot card was Yamanya, Golden Opportunity. Now I love this card because it says important doors are opening for you right now, walk through them. So funnily enough, the next full moon after this is going to be linked to Jupiter, and the two are interlinked. So it could be around this time you have a key opportunity to travel, to learn, to understand, to adventure, to journey, any of these things, and it's going to be something that's really beneficial for you, Gemini, because this full moon is actually trine the true node in your sign. You could have something illuminated that really changes your life path, changes your spiritual perspectives, changes your journey. So it's quite exciting. Do let me know what happens, and I will talk to you soon, Gemini. Bye. Hi Cancer, welcome to this full moon in Aquarius segment for your sign. So Cancer, this is in quite an emotional part of the sky for you. It's in your 8th house. Now your 8th house rules shared resources, your legacies, where you benefit mutually with somebody else, where you're linked to somebody else through money or through intimacy or through marriage or something like this. So this can also rule psychological breakthroughs. So for some people it would be an exposing energy literally surrounding you joining with somebody else financially, you joining with somebody else materially or intimately. This could be quite a passionate full moon for you, I have to say, if you're in a relationship. For some of you that are in a relationship, you may decide to begin or start up some kind of financial adventure together, some financial venture, merge your money. If you're not in a relationship, this might be a time when you actually have a real psychological breakthrough of what's going on with you, especially if you've been kind of confused. For some of you, You could have been confused about the legacy that you're leaving behind and what is true to your personality, because your psychology is actually shifting a lot at this time, Cancer. You could be experiencing some really interesting downloads, some really interesting breakthroughs with yourself, particularly if you're seeing a therapist or undergoing a healing process, because we have the true node linked to this that's in your 12th house of the unconscious. So the emotions that come to the surface around this time are really good for you in the long run. They're going to expose what's going on with you underneath, so that you have a better awareness of who you are, what you need to change, what you need to work on, work through, and this will really benefit your relationships. And it's interesting because we had the fairness card, which is a lot to do with Libra. So you could be dealing with a Libra person or legalities at this time. But this card says the situation would be handled in a fair and just manner. So some of you with the 8th house could also be dealing with inheritance issues or legal issues. And that card is hopefully for you a really good omen, Cancer. But allow the emotions to come up around this time, because I have found with 8th house full moons or even just moon transits, because you're quite susceptible to the moons, it can trigger feelings that you don't like, such as envy or jealousy or fear of rejection, for example. And you can really listen to these feelings and say, why is this coming up for me? Is it something that's outside me? Is it inside me? What is this actually meaning for me in terms of, you know, my personal journey, my personal experience, and how can I address this? It's actually a wonderful time for some healing, Cancer, because your insights, you could be, even if you're not qualified, really good at analysing yourself psychologically, and also quite good at analysing other people. So you might have some interesting conversations around this time, Cancer, as an armchair psychologist. But that is what I have for you. I hope you have a beautiful full moon, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Leo, welcome to the full moon in Aquarius for your zodiac sign. So Leo, this is happening in your sector of relationships. Now this is happening regarding relationships of all kinds, one-on-one interactions. So that can be romantic, that can be marriage, contracts, business relationships, it can be family, friends, can even be your enemies. Some of you might have maybe you have an enemy going on. I think life's a bit too short for enemies. But it depends on what your situation is, obviously. So Leo, this full moon is likely going to impact how you feel in your relationships. Now the full moon is opposite the sun, your ruler, in your sign in the 1st degree. So it's likely that you around this time are feeling really driven. You're feeling really focused on what it is that you want for yourself, what your goals are, who you're becoming, what you want to do for you. And this full moon in your season is about remembering that who you are is intrinsically linked to other people, and no man or woman is an island. So with this particular full moon, it's important that you nurture your relationships. It's important that you give space to your relationships. I do think because there's 2 consecutive full moons, for those of you, especially Leo rising, that have been in on and off situations or relationships where there's unhappiness or lack of clarity, understanding, or compatibility, these relationships with the full moons might actually end around the next couple of months if you're in a relationship you don't want to be in. But on the other hand, because there's 2 sides to this 2-headed calf degree, it might actually be that a lot of you reach a culmination with a relationship. Maybe you get engaged, maybe you get married, maybe you join forces on something. It might also be that there's some healing in relationships for some of you too with this full moon. It's asking you who you are with your partner, who you are on your own, what your relationships are like, where there could be some healing, where you run away from love, or where you throw yourself in too quickly, or if there's anything that needs to be addressed around this time. It might also be that some of your partner's feelings just simply come to light because the full moon is in your partnership zone. So if you're in a relationship or if you're single, the intentions, the emotions, the feelings of the person you're dating or dealing with could come to the fore around this time. Your tarot card was fabulous. Mother Mary, expect a miracle. So this is a lovely omen for a lot of you Leo risings. Have faith that your prayers have been heard and are being answered. This is beautiful because as we go into August, your season is activating that Saturn-Uranus square, and that's not the easiest thing in the world, but for a lot of Leos, this can simply represent committing to something, which is why with this full moon, I do feel that a lot of you are going to establish whether your relationships are long-term or not. You could also meet someone that's long-term material, but I think for a lot of you, because of this card, it looks like quite a nice full moon, I think, really. The astrology of it is indeed one way, but I have seen more than anything else this year through my observations that fixed sign people are really buckling down on their commitments in life. So for you, I think that you are mostly the same. So that's what I have for you, Leo. I hope you have a beautiful full moon, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Virgo, so this full moon is happening in your home house, your 6th house of wellness, health, productivity, work, service, and all the stuff that is just quite natural to you. It's also your house of needs. So with this full moon, a lot of you, especially because it's opposite the sun in your 12th house, are going to be purifying. And I have to say right off the bat, I can't hold it in. We actually got this card for you, which is purification. It makes so much sense. It's time for a cleansing, detoxification of your body and mind. That card could not be more appropriate for you. So around this full moon, you might be changing your diet, your health, your routine. Some of you could be experiencing some flare-ups of a condition that you have, or you could be getting some wonderful insight. If you have a condition or a health affliction of any kind, this month, the full moon, and next month, the full moon, are great times to either get second opinions or see a specialist or have more analysis over your well-being and your body. Some of you could experience flare-ups in terms of conditions, or you could realize you're allergic to something. You could realize you don't want to drink anymore, you don't want to eat dairy anymore, you don't want to go a day without doing some kind of physical activity, walking. It's really going to expose your relationship with your body and your mental health, because the two are intrinsically linked. The astrology says so. So you might be deciding to cut out social media. You might be deciding to distance yourself from people that make you feel ungrounded, not right, they just don't make you feel good. So you might be distancing yourself from anything that is not good for you at this time, Virgo, and it might be something that's really very healing for you in the long run. You might realize that your body image needs some kind of healing surrounding your body image. You might need some healing surrounding the way that you see your appearance. You might need some healing surrounding the way you treat your body, cope with health matters, that type of thing. Really around this time, Virgo, your health is your priority. So take time to decide what it is that you want to do with your schedule. With Saturn being there, it means that you could feel like your health was at the bottom of your priorities, or you were not... you are making choices based on restriction with Saturn there. So just be careful about that. Really listen to your body around this time and check in with your mental health, your emotional well-being, and your physical well-being, and maybe start the process of letting go of some things that are no longer serving you. That's what I have for you, Virgo. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Libra, welcome to your full moon and Aquarius reading. So Libra, this full moon is happening in your sector of play, passion, fun, romance, children, creativity, and it may be that these matters come to the fore around this full moon. Some of you in romantic relationships could experience a surge in romance. You could just have a surge in creativity, a surge in passion. Some of you that are artistic could be really flourishing around this time, and you might notice where you have been limiting yourself in terms of play, fun, romance in your life. So if these areas have been lacking for you, Libra, this is the full moon to pay attention and maybe make a few tweaks so that you can incorporate more of that in your life. It's likely with the full moon in Leo, the sun opposite the full moon in Aquarius, the sun's in Leo, your friendship sector. It could be for a lot of you that you're really focused on your aspirations, your dreams, you're focused on your friendships, being there for your friends, being there for other people. And this full moon is telling you, Libra, you need to have fun, you need to play, you need to have joy in your life. And if you're trying to manifest something, or there's a goal you're really working on, the important thing to do, Libra, is to also have playtime and fun and get in the vibration of love and the vibration of source. Feeling good is what's going to bring it closer to you if you've been working non-stop towards an aspiration or trying to manifest it. This is about letting go, having fun, and letting more romance, creativity, and play enter your life. Just doing something that makes you happy. Now, in terms of love, it could also illuminate feelings of love towards another person, from another person. It can be very romantic, and there's 2 consecutive full moons. So if you're feeling around this full moon that things are shifting for you romantically, they probably are, and it's probably in a good way, because next month there's going to be that Jupiter energy. With the Ishtar card, boundaries, love yourself enough to say no to others' demands in your time and energy. I have to say, some of you need to set more clear boundaries instead of pleasing people, which is why this full moon wants you to have more fun, play, be carefree, and enjoy yourself, Libra. So that is what I have for you. I hope you have a beautiful full moon, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Scorpio, welcome to this full moon in Aquarius reading for your sign. This full moon is happening in your sector of home, family, the past, family beliefs, your house, the people you share your house with, your emotional security, and what it requires for you to feel safe. So Scorpio, this full moon is illuminating all matters surrounding home and family. And where there has been some kind of blockage or restriction in terms of a housing matter, a home, a family matter, or there has been some sort of limitations or restrictions, this full moon is exposing what you need to do in order to feel the best you possibly can, because the next full moon is going to be really beautiful surrounding your home. So between this full moon, the next full moon, the 2 weeks before, the 2 weeks after either, it could be possible that some of you are moving, some of you could be relocating, there could be family matters come to a head at this time that you need to work on, you need to resolve, you need to heal. It might be that some of you become very aware of where there is a family belief that's been passed down by the generations that is no longer serving you, and you need to break a generational curse. This could be where you have a family where they've always said that the women are this, or they've always said that the men are this. And there's something that stops with you because these are 2 consecutive full moons. So there's a lot of healing in terms of the family, not forgetting the link of this full moon to an asteroid associated with healing. So it's very likely around this time that in terms of your home, there's going to be positive change, or there's going to be something that comes up in order for you to work on it to heal it. There could be news surrounding family members around this full moon or the next. Or there could be matters surrounding the home. There's actually, because of the 1st degree, for a lot of you there's a new beginning in terms of the home, so it might be around this time, thanks to Saturn, that some of you are moving into your first house or a new house, or you're realizing the commitment that it takes to move into a home or something like this, and this is a full moon to get really clear over the structures and the foundations that you need in order to have a happy home life, family life, or emotional safety and security. The full moon card that you have is actually Iseult, undying love. The love you've shared is eternal regardless of the situation. So if you're going through troubling emotions or feelings come up surrounding family or home or ancestry, just know that there is a bond of love there. I'm not going to comment on every personal situation that could be possible, take what resonates, but it's very likely that a lot of you are understanding where you need to have love for your home, where you need to have love for your family, or there's some healing that goes on there. It's also interesting because this full moon is opposite the sun in your 10th house, so you could be experiencing either news about the father or mother at this time, your parents and how you've been parented, and there could actually be this understanding or this emotional exchange from a parent where you understand them better, they understand you better. There's this quote by Mark Twain that said, in my 20s I thought my parents were immature, and by 29 they'd matured a lot. I find that quote really interesting, because when you're going through your Saturn return you kind of understand it. So there's a lot of loving energy coming up around this full moon. It could be as well with that undying love card that a lot of you in your relationships experience more vulnerability with your partner or the people you date or your friendships, or you're better at sharing your feelings and opening up a little bit more. Okay, Scorpios, that's what I have for you. I'll have a beautiful full moon and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Sagittarius, welcome to the full moon in Aquarius for your zodiac sign. Sagittarius, this full moon for you is falling in your 3rd house of communication, siblings, neighbours, learning, education, social interactions, social media, opinions, information, and fresh ideas. So around this full moon, you could be getting a spark of genius. You could also be hearing the truth, and you guys love the truth. I think more than any other sign, Sagittarius is on this quest for truth and information, and it might please you that others are going to be more loose-lipped around you at this time. They're going to be saying whatever's on their mind, sharing secrets, sharing information that will likely pique your interest. So it could be that you hear something really interesting around this time, gossip, you could hear from a sibling, some kind of event going on in their life, you could hear interesting news surrounding a neighbour, there could be changes in your neighbourhood, but there's going to be a shift in those areas, whatever it transpires as for you. It's going to be opposite your 9th house, which is you in your most authentic self. You're feeling adventurous, you're feeling inquisitive, curious, and the more you keep your mind open at this time, Sagittarius, the more you can actually find yourself accumulating some knowledge or information that's going to serve you in the long run. So this is going to be an interesting one for you in terms of a bit of gossip, bit of drama, but also be mindful with Saturn, it might be better to keep yourself out of it. If you didn't hear it from the person, take it with a big pinch of salt, even if it's very interesting. You have the Diana card, focused intention. Keep your unwavering thoughts, feelings, and actions focused on your target, and you'll make your mark. So this is interesting because she's shooting an arrow. You're the archer. If you have a goal or something you want to learn or something you want to achieve, this is a wonderful full moon for you to focus on it, commit to it, and work towards it, because there could be something, especially if it's to do with writing, especially if it's to do with a hobby of yours, this full moon could really give you some headway, and you could really get towards the end of an important project or learning experience within a month. So that's what I have for you, Sagittarius, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Capricorn, this full moon is happening in your second house of finance, salary, assets, needs, worth, value. This full moon is going to illuminate these areas for you so that it can benefit you in the long run. It's going to make you aware of your financial situation. You might be aware of where you've been spending money. Check your bank account, because sometimes there can be things coming out of it and you don't realize. Get a really good look at your finances at this time, because it can benefit you in the long run, and it could expose where there's been a long-term leak. This can also expose to you new ways of making money. This can be a time when you increase your salary, or you look at other salary ranges in your job and you realize what it is that you want to be earning, striving for, going for. You could also realize around this time what's truly important to you, what matters the most, what makes you feel comfortable, what makes you feel safe on the material level, and what makes you feel appreciated. So for a lot of you, this is going to be opposite the Leo energy in your 8th house, which is how you deal with others financially. It could be that for some of you there has been trickiness in joint financial endeavors. Maybe you've been you've a partner that's been spending a lot of money, or maybe a partner's assets are not so clear to you, or something like this. They could be going through anything in terms of inheritance as well. Could be a theme around this time. But really for you, Capricorn, it's so that you focus on your own money, your own resources, your own assets, your own salary, and really get your finances in order. You could also realize where you're limited, or where you've been limited by an authority figure or a boss in terms of salary, and you might be owed more than you are actually getting. Similarly with the full moon in the 2nd house, I have to say, you can come into money this month or next month. Some of you could come into a lot of money, because we got for you the golden opportunity card. I think this came up for another sign, but I can't remember what it was. Important doors are opening for you now. Walk through them. Some of you could have a significant door open in terms of money, resources, finances, or wealth. And it could be really positive, Capricorn. So look out for chance, exciting opportunities in terms of your money. So that's what I have for you, Capricorn, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Aquarius, welcome to the full moon in your sign. Happy full moon, you get 2 this year. Isn't that pretty special? This full moon is illuminating how you feel about yourself, your personality, your personal preferences, your solo endeavors, your independence, your looks, your image. So this full moon, it is going to be showing you, Aquarius, who you are, what you want from yourself, and also how you've been limiting yourself with Saturn there, how you've been restricting yourself from growth, from understanding yourself, from being yourself, just from being who you are and your independence. It could be around this time that you realize you don't want to be in a significant relationship that you're in. That's a potential, or a job that you're in, or it could be that you feel like you're limiting yourself around people. It could be that you're holding back your feelings. You could be holding back who you are, and this full moon is really letting you see where you're at, Aquarius, in terms of your self-image in particular, because this full moon has a degree of healing to it. So it could be around this time that you're realizing you're not the same person anymore, and you want to have more compassion for who you've been and who you're becoming. You want to have a good relationship with yourself. You want to be your own best friend, your own hype person. Your card was interesting. We got the Kuan Yin compassion card. Release judgments about yourself and others, and focus on the love and light that is within everybody. So this is about not judging yourself, not judging who you've been, what you've done, where you're going, who you are, not being so hard on yourself, developing a better relationship with yourself, healing your inner child, healing your self-image, and deciding to step into a period where you feel very loved and supported by yourself, Aquarius. It's about having that really strong relationship with who you are. You might change your image around this time, get your hair done, change the color. You might, for some of you, you might actually go back to your original hair color if that is something you've changed. You might also reconnect with an old version of yourself, Aquarius, because it feels more true to who you are. But you will also see around this time how you've grown and developed with Saturn in your sign, and Jupiter's going to go back into your sign. So by this time next month, you're getting a gift from Jupiter. So that's something to look forward to. And I can bet you that it is because you have had a little bit more compassion and love for yourself. So that is what I have for you, Aquarius, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hi Pisces, and welcome to the full moon in Aquarius. This is the astrology and tarot for your sign. So Pisces, this full moon is happening in your house, the 12th house of the unconscious, the dreams, the mysteries, the hidden, your inner world, the inner realms, the other realms, all the magical spiritual stuff. So around this full moon, you could be incredibly psychic, you could be incredibly intuitive, you could be really tapping into your inner world. You could also be releasing, with this 6th house sun and this 12th house moon, your self-sabotaging tendencies. You could be releasing the need to control, the need to neglect your dreams. Some of you could be very aware around this time where you have a dream you've neglected. You've got magic in your life you've neglected by working too hard, potentially. You're looking too much at your physical health, your physical well-being, and not looking at your emotional well-being and your mental health. So this full moon is going to expose anything within you that needs to be exposed. It can, of course, as a 12th house full moon, expose people around you, but usually the 12th house is quite subconscious, and it's going to be a time where you're really aware of what your dreams are telling you, where you need to heal, where you need to stop self-sabotaging. Your tarot card was go outside. So a lot of you will find healing by hiking, by being by the sea, by doing yoga, meditation, being outside, being in the great outdoors. Recommend you do as much retreat around this time as you can, out in nature, maybe by the beach. You could connect to spiritual realms. You could feel connected to things like fairies or spirit guides or anything super spiritual or religious around this time. And you can also find some hidden treasures are actually exposed. So sometimes with full moons in the 12th house, they can actually expose something that is quite wonderful. You know, Saturn's been going through your 12th house and you've been doing a lot of emotional growth. So it could be that you realize how much you've healed, how much you've grown, and how much self-work you've put into yourself in terms of self-healing, love, loving yourself, being at one with yourself, being with others, that kind of thing. And it's about letting go of what doesn't make you happy. So for some of you, you might let go of something in your life, be it a habit, hobby, a food, a routine, a schedule, a job even, that really doesn't make you happy. And it could be that around this particular area, you're really evolving and really changing. So for some of you, your luck with the Venus-Mars conjunction in your 6th house has changed. Your luck surrounding your job life, your health, for example. And with this full moon, it's going to expose to you where you need to make sure that you're devoting enough time to yourself and to healing and to your privacy and your inner world. Get lost in a book, get lost in some magic, get lost in astrology. Anything that really makes you feel connected to the divine and the spiritual will be very healing for you around this time, Pisces. So I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you soon. Happy full moon. Bye.